Hello and welcome to the Bloodstream. Before we dive into tonight's show, let me make just a couple of quick announcements. Let me give some shout outs to everybody who's tuned in so far. What's up, Bog Zombie, JB, Pete Carr? Got Christian watching over on Twitch, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Guy Incognito, Jimmy, Antonis, Dream Emulator, Matt, what's up? What's up, Richard? We will do, if we have time permitting, of course, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A with Buddy toward the end of tonight's show. So if you have questions for Buddy, I would recommend you hold on to those until toward the end of the night so that I can keep track of them, or please feel free to send them via a super chat. YouTube keeps a track of those, and of course that helps support the channel. So I'd appreciate that. But without further ado, making his second appearance on my channel, it's a pleasure to be spending some more time with him talking about the upcoming sequel to the Mutilator, Mutilator 2. He's a writer, a producer, a director, and just a good guy. Buddy Cooper, how you doing, sir?
I'm well, thank you. I hope you are.
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time out to hang out with me and do this again.
Oh yeah, this is fun. This is fun. I'm having a good time.
Awesome.
You're a pleasure to be with.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, we did one of these back in, I think it was either June or July of 2020. And a lot's happened since then. A lot has happened since then.
Yes, most of us were taking our masks off and going back to work. That was a big holdup back then.
Yes, thank goodness. But kind of in the midst of it all, a little movie got made. And that is, of course, Mutilator 2. That's what we're here to talk about tonight. And I know everybody, the trailers dropped. There seems to be a lot of excitement about Mutilator 2. And I kind of kept it under, on the down low that I was in the movie. So when that trailer came out, there were a lot of people like, huh, what? Is that you? And I was like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. So
another facet of my personality.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. So and I've not seen the movie. I didn't even read the full script, Buddy, because I didn't want anything to be spoiled. I did the actor thing. I just read my part. And I was like, I want everything else to be I don't want to spoil anything when I see it for the first time. So but let's kind of start at the beginning. Let's go back to I know we talked briefly about Mutilator 2 at the end of our first stream back in 2020, but when did the idea of doing Mutilator 2 start kicking around?
A long time ago. Everybody connected with the Mutilator wanted to do another one, including me, and it just didn't happen. Money was a problem. I had to pay for the first one. People drifted away. Things came on. I was practicing law. I had to get caught up. I had children growing up. I needed to be a father. I was coaching t-ball and softball. I was married. I was being a husband. And as they say, life just got in the way. Mm-hmm. It was 91 when I finally went to LA and attended American University. The film school. I can't remember the name now. AFI, and stayed there for 6 years or so, chasing a career, trying to get things made, put some nice packages together, and I had some interest, but I never sold anything. My parents were getting elderly. My father had nobody to rely on. So in 98, I came home, shut down my law practice and went hunting and fishing for a year. And my father grew ill and died in '01. And I was asked by my family to take over the oversight of the operation of the family business, which was the Oceana Motel Fishing Pier. And things like that just kept getting in the way until finally, in 19, I said, no, we got to do it. It's getting late for some of us. And so we started then. We had a screenplay, probably took a little over a year to develop it, talking with different people. And then the pandemic struck. And so we quit. Just shut it on the back burner until late in 21. We geared back up and started hiring people and reserving rooms and that sort of thing, doing all the business part, all the pre-production.
Well, you mentioned the screenplay. What was the writing process or the creative process like when you started to, I was going to say put pen to paper, but nobody writes that way anymore. When you started,
Oh yeah.
oh, did you? Okay, okay. What was
I make notes that way anyhow.
what was that process like?
It was in part humiliating. I wrote what I thought was a pretty good screenplay, and I sent it to some of my friends who are writers or smart or savvy for their. I was looking for praise, and what I got was not praise. So look, hey, you got a problem here. You got a problem here. How about this? My friend Ed Farrell's brother, who has died now, was really instrumental. He was a writer his whole life. He'd sit down in the chair in the morning and write 1,500 words a day, every day. And he had a good career. He was editor of Omni magazine, for instance, and some other things. But he gave me the idea for, there's a character Zine in the magazine and in the movie. That idea came from him. It was a 2 or 3 sentence idea that blossomed into a really good character, one of my favorite characters in the movie, as a matter of fact, next to yours, of course.
Thank you.
And so I pulled in these suggestions and hints from other people. The Saska sisters made a suggestion which was incorporated into the movie. Ann Hale, producer, worked with the dialogue of one of the characters and brought it up to date. And then when it was through or approved by me anyhow, when I was ready to sink the money in it, I can't say that it was finished because it's not, I don't think it's finished until the editor is through, to tell you the truth. There were changes made and suggestions made by, after the first day of shooting, Chance Madison, the DP, and I, Chance had said, buddy, I'm going to give you exactly what you asked for. So after the first day of shooting, I asked Chance to go to dinner with me that night and went across the street to Amos Mosquito's restaurant and bar. And Chance was prepared. He had his notebook and it was all out, storyboarded and scheduled notes and all that stuff. And I said, Chance. He said, yeah. I said, you remember you promised to give me exactly what I asked for. He said, yeah. And I said, well, that's what you did this morning. And it sucks. It was no good. I said, I would appreciate a little help along the way if you would suggest a particular shot or something. And he did. And he suggested some of the best shots in the movie. The poster, for instance, the poster under the pier, Chance set that up. Chance came up with that. And so the screenplay changed while it was being shot. The talent, everybody who performed in this movie, including you, was talented and skilled and prepared. Those, you and the others, came to this set with that character. And when they made the characters come to life, and many times the character would take control and would say or do things that weren't in the screenplay, but that were better than what was in the screenplay. It was just appropriate for that character. And I have to tell you, the colorist guy named Patrick Dunnigan said he heard from somebody in LA that casting is 80%, no, directing is 80% casting. Maybe you've heard that. And I think in this movie it's probably closer to 90%. Because the cast was phenomenal. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate their effort and their performances.
Well, and I got to tell you, the crew, the first night that I arrived, and you said, come on down. We're shooting in the restaurant. Come on down and hang out.
Okay.
And I came down. I hung out. You, of course, and all the crew just couldn't have been any kinder, any warmer, any nicer.
That was a good group of people. The whole crowd.
They were an incredible group of people. And what I really, I'd never been on a movie set before, but seeing, it didn't matter what their title was or what their credit's going to be. And at the end of the movie, they were gung ho. They were right there to help out for the betterment of the movie. They didn't, if I get blood on me, I get blood on me. You know what I mean? Whatever, I'm there. It doesn't matter. Like, Hannibal, there was, I don't want to give too much away, but there was a scene that involved a special effect that had blood, and she dove on top of the counter and she was yelling for, napkin, get me paper towels, get me paper towels. Like, that's not what she was, she was wardrobe, right? But she's right there. She's in the thick of it, getting her hands dirty, probably getting everything dirty. And I just remember thinking like, wow, that's the kind of person you want to go into combat with. You know what I mean? Or somebody like Jeff, who just was so,
yeah, he was everywhere.
He was everywhere. They had to make your job infinitely easier because they were, it kind of seemed like they were doing the heavy lift and you were sitting back going, I like that. No, do that differently.
There was a lot of that going on. And in fact, that is their job, so to speak. But they talk to me and read the screenplay and get an idea of what I'm after, and then do it. And I might adjust it. I might accept it as is. I remember once we were shooting one scene with Cheney Morrow and Damian Maffey, and I called them aside and told them, "You guys have got your characters nailed. I'm just going to go over here and sit down and watch the show." And that's what happened in that thing. I changed one word. Cheney had one word that I thought was important. It wasn't right, so we changed one word, and they did it. They just did it, and that's the way it was. And I'm concentrating on the cast, but you're right. The crew was there, and if you had to do somebody else's job, that was fine. We didn't mind. We didn't do it. It was just everybody felt that way about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You had an incredible unit around you that were
we had a good esprit de corps.
Exactly. Now, you'd not been behind the camera in a while. Did you do anything to kind of any preparation to get ready to get behind the camera? Were you out there doing cardio? Were you jogging every morning at 5 a.m.? How did you get prepared to step back behind the camera?
Well, physically, I'm fairly active. I work out 5 times a week. So physically, it wasn't a problem. I was not used to night work. I had to get a prescription from a doctor. There's a medicine they prescribe for people who work night shifts. So I got some of that to keep me going on the late nights.
Okay.
But otherwise, I didn't do much of anything. It was a learning process for me. The last time I did it was 35 millimeter film, and this time it's digital. It's just, I mean, the light enters the lens, but once you get past that part, it's really different. The crew was good. Wu, the second cameraman, was second assistant, set up a monitor for me at every take, every shot. Hey, I had my own monitor watching the thing. About half the time I've been leaning over Chance's shoulder. There's a little monitor on the camera, and he was good. There's this scene I was just talking about with Damien and Cheney had in the background behind, without saying who they are and the thing. In the background, there's a post behind Damien, and it looked like this post was going right down in his head. And I said, Chance, we get this. He reached under the camera, mounted on a dolly, and he clicked something and adjusted the camera about an inch and clicked it back. And the thing now had moved between the two characters, which was just right. And serendipitously became an aesthetically artistic important thing, because we had this dividing line between these two characters who were not on the same side, and one would lean towards the post, and from time to time lean past the post, which became a physical boundary. It just worked that way. Just one of those things that happened. Anyhow, that sort of thing happened. I didn't do any preparation. I probably should have. I just I'll leave it up to all those guys.
Well, and speaking of your great crew and the other guys, we actually have a member of that crew in the in the green room who wants to jump on and say hello.
There used to be a TV show like something about the best day of your life. I don't know if you remember that, and they'd have people waiting backside. And next we have
That's what we're doing tonight, buddy. That's what we're doing tonight. The first of maybe several special guests tonight. I don't know. We'll see. But we have Jeff Seaman with us tonight. What's going on, Jeff?
I don't know. I'm glad I said good things about him, though.
Well, it's the first time he's ever said good things about me. I'm doing
the second time.
That man right there is a wonderful man through and through. And from the first time that I met him, I was enamored with him and his charisma. And he's a great guy to have on a film set. He's a great guy to have in your life. And I was blessed to be given the reins as much as I was on this film. And he and I had some great times. A lot of times sitting next to each other at that monitor, me trying to stay out of his way. But we had some great times, and I miss you, buddy. We had a great time, and I really miss you.
Yeah, me too. It was special.
It was. It was.
I mean, I sent you that one behind the scenes shot of us walking along. You might remember that.
Oh yeah.
We were the Bobbsey twins there for a while.
We were
in that shot. I don't know if you noticed that I was carrying a locked metal box. That's the one that had the gun in it. So,
yep. Yeah. Yep. And Buddy's not lying about day one. Whew. That was a rough day, but we learned a lot from it. We fixed a couple of things. We reshot something. And from that day on, things just got a little smoother and a little smoother. We had some speed bumps, but man, 5 weeks on the beach, man, I couldn't complain about shooting a film on the beach and shooting with this fine gentleman here. And I know you asked me for a story, something. I don't want to go into too much detail because there's spoilers that we are not letting out. But
okay,
week 3 of this film, I tend to walk everywhere a little fast, and I walked underneath a staircase and hit a light and concussed myself.
Oh wow.
It happens, but I didn't realize I was concussed until the next day. I finished the day that we were on, and the next morning I woke up and Bill Hitchcock saw it in my eyes, and he drove me to the hospital. And they're like, "Yeah, you're done for a day or two. You're concussed." And the problem with that was, well, the good thing is we had such a great crew, and Buddy is such he's picking up the pieces where they need picked up, and Ann Hale, our other producer, was doing great. They didn't need me as much as I thought they did.
We needed you. We faked it.
You were a take charge kind of guy, Jeff. You were a take charge.
I try to be. The problem was they were shooting right outside of my hotel room. and I could hear everything that was happening outside my window, but I wasn't allowed to even open the curtains because light could hurt. And it was very painful emotionally to hear all of that going on and knowing I can't help. But the reason I tell this story is one of the scenes that I missed involves a death. Not telling you who, not telling you what happens. But a body part from that character was delivered to my door that night by Buddy and Ed Farrell. And it was the greatest gift. I mean, you're a horror guy. That was the greatest gift that could be given to me. And it cheered me up. And they left. They were only there 5 minutes, but when they left, I got tears in my eyes, because that was just, it was the thought that they knew that I was in there and that I was hurting. They wanted to check in on me, and they brought me this special gift, and it was
a get well present.
Yeah. It was, the problem is I didn't take it home. Anne Hale has it. But that's a good thing. My girlfriend didn't want that in her house. So
I got a few extra parts down here if you need any more.
She's probably got a lot of parts. Yeah.
But you were talking about the crew, and Buddy is absolutely right. They were top notch from top to bottom. Everybody trying to do 2 or 3 jobs to make sure things got done. There was a lot of stepping over the boundaries. Like, you want to make sure that you don't do the job of another department. These guys, and there's men and women, they all knew each other pretty well. They trusted each other, and they allowed a lot of leeway in helping each other's departments out. And it just made for a great time, and it made for a great film. And the love that these 40 plus people just in crew alone, and then you add in the 50 plus people from cast, man, you got nearly 100 people that just poured their hearts into this film. And
Right.
I hope it shows as much as I see it, as what I see on the film. I hope that the rest of the country and the rest of the world can see it, because it's just magic to me.
Well, I mean, just for the few days that I was there, you could tell that I almost got that feeling like I was showing up to camp a couple of weeks late. Everybody knew each other and everybody was friends, and I was like the new kid. But there was certainly that sense of everybody knew each other. Everybody cared about each other. Yeah, it's as cheesy as it sounds. There really was kind of almost a family dynamic there, it seemed like, because everybody, I could tell, they'd worked with each other before. They knew each other well. They worked well together. And it was a really, tight machine.
It was the crew, especially most of the crew knew each other. They were a tribe, and they allowed the talent and me and people who were not members of the original tribe to become temporary members. It was good. It was really good.
And I also want to point out, your scenes that you're in. We allotted like 3 or 4 hours to shoot the scenes that you were in, and you rattled those things off in like an hour and a half. You were such a pro on that set. You walk into producing a film where there are scenes that don't have the traditional everyday actor type people. And, I say that lovingly to you, sir. You and Jessica side by side in the scenes that you did, and there was no struggle with it at all. The biggest problem that we had was the guy playing Art the Clown in the background couldn't get his steps right.
Now, I'm going to tell you, I have to interrupt here for a minute.
Please.
Our very special friend, Jeff Seaman, played Art the Clown that night. And he had his costume on, but not the mask. And he was running the set as assistant director at the time. And there were people standing around, little buzz groups. And I walked up and I said, "Where's the clown that's running this set?" And everybody just stopped. And they said, "Oh my God, he's calling Jeff a clown." God, they were hiding their faces and looking the other way. And about that time, Art the Clown walked out, putting his mask on, everybody relaxed. They really didn't know who you were in time. I almost got in trouble with that one.
It was hilarious though. And I was just having a great time with that, and you guys were nailing your lines, and I was just enjoying myself in the background with that one. And I didn't know you were going to put that in the trailer, buddy. I'm glad you did for several reasons. But I did notice that a lot of people are like, wait, what Art the Clown have to do with this? And I'm not telling anybody anything about it.
Yeah, your Art the Clown performance has been mentioned a couple of times. I will mention that the credit is not mine. I made a list of clips which I consider to be a design for the trailer, and I sent them to Patrick Dunnigan, our colorist, and he said, I've strung them together. Here they are. Come in. Let's talk about it. So I went to his atelier, and he had a dry erase board. We took a picture of what was up there, and he erased everything, and he started diagramming. Here's what we got. Here's what we want to do, you know. And I said, yeah, all that looks good to me. He said, well, go away and I'll call you back in about a week. And he did, and that's the trailer. He just, whatever I did went out the window. And the trailer you see now is what Patrick did. And I think he did an excellent job.
I do.
Well, I can tell you one thing that certainly helped me was you guys were just so cool and laid back that, you know, even though, you know, I know the camera's on me, I know everybody's watching me, it was really easy to just kind of zone everything out. And especially, you know, hanging out with Jason and Cheyenne and makeup before that, they were, I mean, you couldn't walk out of there, you know, feeling anxious or stressed. They were so great. And, you know, and I know I thanked you, buddy. But you know, being able to act in this movie, having a role in this movie that you wanted me to play was just a tremendous compliment and something I'll forever be in debt to you.
Okay.
And I remember I went back to, after we were done, I went back to my room and I still had all the makeup on, and I needed just like a second to let it all kind of sink in and kind of decompress. And I just felt so elated and appreciative of you, buddy, and of you, Jeff, and of everybody on that set.
You did a marvelous job.
You did.
Oh,
and we appreciate what you did, your performance.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And Jeff, thank you for jumping on and saying hello and sharing all those great stories. It was great seeing you again.
Good to see you too.
And hopefully we'll meet again someday.
We got to get you out to the premiere when we finally pull that one off.
What premiere? Are we going to have a premiere?
I think we should do something at the Carolina Theater, don't you?
I don't know. I'm about out of money.
We'll talk.
We'll set something up.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, Jeff, have a great night, man. Thank you, sir.
Too. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. See you.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, you brought back a number of actors from the first film for the sequel, and you filmed at the same locations as the first film. Did you ever get a sense of deja vu making Mutilator 2?
No, I didn't. I did not, and it just didn't occur to me. We brought back Bill Hitchcock, Ruth Martinez, Pam, the mother in the first one, appears. Trace, the son, appears, although you won't notice him. There are stories, and yeah, we actually shot one scene in the driveway of the old condo at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And then we used my former wife Pam's garage to simulate it. That we built the set in a different garage. It's not the same building, but the fishing pier and the parking lot, the grounds, the swimming pool, yes, all of that was the same locations.
Mm-hmm. And you had the cast this time around. You know, you mentioned it. It's a considerable cast, especially compared to the first film. What was the casting process like? Where did you start? Did you start with like, well, I need Big Ed, and I need, I need to get Bill and, where did you start with assembling such a sizable cast?
Let me begin by telling you how we cast the first one. Well,
Okay.
at least part of it. I put an ad. There's an outfit, Breakdown Services, and when we made the first one, they were a tabloid type publication. I put an ad in there. We're going to have an open call for people, and hired a little studio, and everybody. We showed up. A few of us showed up with an old VHS video camera, and we had 7 applicants. 7. We hired 2 of them. Matt Midler and Francis Raines were among those 7. Now this time, Breakdown Services is online. We put a notice in Breakdown Services for the characters. We got over 500 applicants.
Wow.
And a lot of them were very talented, or they looked good. They looked right for the part. We went through there, but that's not where we got them all. Ann Hale suggested Damien. Damien suggested Terry, and they went around, and some of the people were suggested by people who knew. The rest were just hired based on their reels and the way they looked. And damn, we got lucky with all of them. I mean, they're just excellent. I just couldn't be any happier.
You speak of Ann Hale. Ann Hale's actually watching. She's hanging out in the chat tonight. Hey, Ann, how are you doing?
There was some great talent in our cast, it said. Well, ask her to name a few names. Don't just say great talent. Come on. Where is she? Is she hiding backstage somewhere?
She's out there. She's out there. She's in the chat hanging out with us. But I was having lunch one day in the restaurant, and Terry Kaiser was sitting across from me, and he was eating, and he had his lines, he had his sides with him, and he was eating and kind of doing, I could see his lips moving, him kind of memorizing the lines and stuff. And I remember thinking, like, damn, that's a pro right there. That's a pro.
He's working while he eats lunch.
Working while he's eating lunch. Yeah. So,
Anne appears in the thing. I won't tell anybody what role she plays, but she's in there.
Okay.
And so when she was talking about great talent, she was probably talking about herself.
Surely not. She says, hi, doing great. Couldn't miss seeing Buddy. So well, she's here for you.
Why don't you pop on in here? We can see her.
Well, Ann, shoot me a message on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and we'll see if we can't make that happen. I know we have.
She won't do it.
You don't think so?
She doesn't like being in front of a camera.
Doesn't like to be on camera. Well, we do have at least a couple of more special guests who are going to be popping on here soon. So, and then we may have some fans jump on and ask you questions or whatnot. But
well, there are only 2, so it won't take long.
Oh no, there's plenty more than 2, buddy. There's plenty more than 2.
Yeah, there are. I love them all.
There's been quite a bit of excitement since the trailer dropped, like I was telling you. Now, do you? I know you've been to a couple of conventions. Do you? What's that been like? Going to conventions and meeting fans and hearing their stories about seeing the Mutilator and whatnot.
I haven't heard many stories about seeing the Mutilator and whatnot. And at the conventions, it's unusual to spend much time speaking with one, although it happens from time to time. Usually somebody just asks me to sign a poster or something. And there are people on both sides doing the same thing. So there's not a lot of chit chat going on. There was a panel last year at the Mad Monster Party in Charlotte, and Carl Grasso, Damien Maffey, and I were on the panel, and there were some. I had a little trouble because of my ears. I couldn't quite understand the question. I kept asking the MC to repeat the question for me, but there was a little bit of that with the audience members. There was a question and answer period, and the one I remember most was a guy asked if Jack Chatham was going to be in the thing. He said it's just because Jack has a huge following from the Mutilator, and I told the guy that Jack had signed himself off. He was he signed himself onto the aged out list, but he had asked if he could come down one day and watch the shooting. Just wanted to be on the set. And I told this person in the audience, if he comes down, we're going to sit him down. We're going to put a camera on him, and he's going to be in the movie. and that happened. He just came down. One of his nieces and her husband brought him down. He's 92 or 93 maybe by now, and sat down, and he's in the movie. He doesn't kill anybody.
Well, somebody earlier in the stream had actually asked if Jack was going to be in the movie. So,
Yep.
but it has to be cool to, like, you know, that people want to have their Mutilator posters signed, or they want to come up and meet you and get a picture with you at a, you know, at a convention. That's got to be cool, right?
It is. Yes, I like it. I like it a lot, and I do. I smile and put my arm around them and get my picture taken. Yeah.
You know, it lets you know that, you know, your movie impacted people, and you know, all these years later, they're still you know, they still love it.
They do. They still like it, and I appreciate it. I kind of like it too. I've watched it a couple of times in the past 2 or 3 years, and it holds together really well.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, definitely think so. We're actually waiting for one of our special guests to jump on, but I'll you know, one of the things that fans love about the Mutilator and remember about the Mutilator are the kills. And of course, the, you know, the gaff in the groin being a big one. Did you how do you live up to when you're thinking of kills? Like, you've got to think to yourself at some point, like, I'm a maniac because I'm sitting here dreaming up these awful ways to kill people. How do you top the gaff in the groin for Maniac 2 or Mutilator 2? I'm so sorry.
How did I come up with it?
Or what? How do you top it?
How do I say it again? Top it. How do I top it?
How do you top the gaff through the groin?
I don't know what it's like on your monitor, but mine looks like I'm blushing right now. I did not set out with the goal in mind of topping that iconic kill, and I will reserve judgment on whether I did top it or not. I will tell you a short story about the original shooting that scene.
Well, can I ask you to hold on to that for one moment, because we do have a special guest who's jumped on in the green room, and they only have a limited time with us, so I want to bring them on so they can say hello.
All right.
And I'm dying to ask her what it was like being tied to that pier. Eva Hamilton is here. How are you tonight, Eva?
I'm good. How are you guys? Hi, buddy.
Hey, Eva.
Good to see you.
So what was it like? You know, I was going to ask you, what's it like working for Buddy Cooper? But what we really want to know is, what was it like being tied to that pier all night?
Well, it was a little chilly.
40 degrees, I think.
It was cold. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely cold. But I mean, they were like super nice and helpful, and I had like a little warm tent to go into. So honestly, everybody made it like the most, you know, comfortable that it could possibly be, and I was happy to do it because I think it'll be totally worth it. I mean, it's a very, I don't want to say anything about what happens, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you were a trooper. I appreciate it. You might recall you were walking down to the piling, and the camera was set up, crew, everybody's ready, and I grabbed your the shoulder of your terry cloth robe and said, "Eva, okay, look at this." And I pulled you over, and you looked at my monitor, which we would set up, And I said, this is going to be the prettiest shot in the whole movie. You
I
remember
just
that?
remember that. Yes. And you showed me, and it was so beautiful. And that, you know, like I already knew it was going to be cool, what was going to happen. But then seeing how gorgeous that was, I mean, even more like motivation to go be cold and be at that pier and
Well,
make
it
sure.
worked. It worked. And as you are aware, we used it on the poster.
Yes.
That's good.
I'm very
That's
flattered.
I think that's a great poster. Oh, by the way, I just received from the printer, Eva, yesterday, the proof, the off the press proof of the
Oh,
print.
that's awesome.
And this
Cool.
is just a piece of it because we were discussing the color of the barnacles, and they were a little bit red. And they sent me this to show that they had corrected the color, and they have. It's perfect. And I was thinking about sending it to you just as a souvenir. It's just the first silver print.
It
Huh?
looks incredible.
I'll send it to you.
That's very cool. So what was it? Had you seen the first Mutilator, Eva?
I had, yes. I'm totally like a horror nerd, and I knew it. And, you know, I saw that this was happening, and I was like, I need to be part of this. Yeah.
I got a friend request from Eva, and you always do a little research on the people before you say hello, because some of them you might not want as friends. And,
Right.
and I saw Eva, and so I said, my God. I said, yeah, please accept. And by the way, I'm going to be making a movie, you know, would you be interested in being in it? And it's kind of cool. I'm sure she gets a lot of messages like, hey, baby, come on, be in my movie. But maybe she did a little research, because a day or so later she came back and said, yes, she was interested. And it went from there.
Yeah,
From a Facebook friend request.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I reached out, and you were so offering me that. And
I am too.
Yeah.
So what was it like? What was it like working for Buddy Cooper, Eva?
It was wonderful,
Oh,
honestly.
show him the scars. No.
You'll see them in the movie. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was great. I mean, you, Buddy, are like so incredibly warm and incredibly talented, and it was really an honor to work with you and, you know, to meet you. And you're a legend in the horror world. So there was that, but I mean, it was also just a really, really pleasant set with really good people. And, you know, I just always really felt comfortable, and you were very open as far as letting people, you know, letting the actors bring what they felt to the roles. And I think that was really important. You know, I think it made everything work very well.
It was important to me what y'all brought too, and you brought a lot. All of you included.
Thank you.
You have a great screen, really great screen.
Thank you.
That's a big part of casting your lead in a horror movie is, you know, do they have a great scream, right?
Screams are important.
Well, yeah, you can buy a scream and plug it in if you want to, but we didn't need to with Eva. Eva brought her own.
Well, let me ask you, Buddy, when you have, you know you're going to subject a cast member to something like being tied to a pier all night in 40-degree weather in their underwear, how do you approach the actor to kind of a bathing suit? I'm sorry. How do you kind of approach the actor to be like, hey, so we're going to tie you to a pier tonight in your bathing suit? Are you how do you approach that as a director?
I didn't do anything. It was in the screenplay. He even knew what was going on. I did tie her hands. There was no rope, so I took the belt off the terry cloth robe and wrapped around her hands. And I remember telling her that I was not tying a knot. I was just wrapping around her wrists, so she wouldn't be too concerned about that. And that was it.
Well, maybe I should direct the question at Eva. Eva, how did you feel when you read the script and you were like, gosh, I'm going to be tied to a freaking pier?
Oh, I love
with barnacles.
With barnacles all over it.
No, I was thrilled, to be totally honest. I am always happy to do what it takes, you know, to get the shot. And I thought it was an incredible scene. And I was like thrilled that, you know, this is what my character got to do. So I was ready and excited. And I remember, you know, getting to set and everyone was like, okay, so it's going to be really cold. We're going to do our best to get, you know, really fast. And everybody was very, you know, kind and concerned. And I was like, I know it's going to be cold, but like, let's do it. Like, it's just, it was important. So I was thrilled to do it. Yeah.
Right on, right on.
Thank you.
What's your fondest memory? What memory will you carry with you forever from the set of Mutilator 2?
I think really, everyone that I met, it was just a really, really good group of people, and people that were incredibly dedicated and talented, and really love horror in a real way that you don't always see and get to be around. So I think the connections I made is really the takeaway.
Very cool. Very cool. Before I let you go, Eva, because I know you've got to be somewhere, I want to recommend to everybody watching to go watch Death Kiss 2 if you've not seen Death Kiss. That's an awesome movie that Eva's in. So we'll give a shout out to Death Kiss while we're at it. But Eva, thank you so much for hopping on and saying hello. And
thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun.
It was a pleasure.
Goodbye. It was good seeing you.
Yeah, same.
Have a great night.
You too.
So you were going to tell us a story about the infamous gaff in the groin sequence when I cut you off.
The DP was the great Peter Schnall, who went on to extreme fame. He talked his kid sister into coming down and handling the boom, being the boom operator. Lisa was her name, Lisa Schnall. And the set was, everybody knew what was coming. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about it. And Lisa said, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to participate in that shot. Everything's in place. The lights are up. The crew's going. The camera's getting ready. They're waiting for me to say action. And Lisa laid the boom down and walked off the set. Wait a minute. Peter went out and talked to her a little bit and brought her back. And she wound up booming very well. But she didn't want anything to do with it.
Oh, I mean, I
had to tell you the truth. It's easy to understand. How I came up with it, I don't know. I don't have any idea. These things happen.
Can we expect that level of bloodshed and carnage from Mutilator 2, or did you take it to an all new level?
I think it'll be about the same.
About the same. So still plenty bloody, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Well, if people out there, if you guys have any questions for Buddy, start letting those roll in. If you're a patron or a channel member and you want to jump on and ask Buddy a question face to face, those links are up now, and I'll make the invite link available to everybody here in just a little bit. So I guess the obvious question now, Buddy, is where does Mutilator 2 stand? When can we see it?
I wish I had an answer for you. It is all but finished. There's one or two minor visual matters that need to be tended to, and 3 or 4 audio matters. The volume needs to be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, that sort of thing. So it's really, it's almost negligible stuff. The version that we have is 99% done. And I have sent, it is posted on Vimeo, and I have sent links and passwords to 3 distributors who are looking. And it's holiday season. I just sent it last week, so I haven't heard back from them. I heard from one. He said, I saw the trailer on online. When can I see it? And I said, well, I sent this stuff to you last week. I'll send it again right now. And while I was getting ready, I got a second email from him. He said, never mind. It was in the wrong folder. So they got it. And I'm anxious to hear from them because I want to get it out there. Maybe even get a little advance, get some of my money back.
Hey, that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. And here's one thing that I really admire about you, Buddy.
Only one? Come on.
Well, here's one of the big ones, though, Buddy. One of the big ones. Right. You put your money where your mouth is. You're a true independent filmmaker in that you make your movies with your money, and that takes a lot of balls. that takes a lot of balls. Because I mean, you could
Takes a lot of
have
something. I'm not sure balls. Right? Stupidity might work in there somewhere.
well, I mean, you could have went to you could have went to a Shutter, or you could have went to you know anywhere maybe
Yeah.
and said, hey, look, Mutilator, it's got a huge fan base, give me some money and let me make Mutilator 2. But then like you got to worry with the rating, you got to worry with a runtime. Maybe they want you to cast certain people that you just don't want to, they put certain boundaries and certain
Yeah.
restrictions on you.
Yes, and I specifically wanted to avoid that. It's worth the money. It's worth the effort to be. If something goes wrong, there's only one person they have to come talk to.
Exactly.
There's no committee, nobody, no phone calls. Like, hey, bud, look, we got okay. We'll do it this way. Yeah. And that happened in the Mutilator. We were sitting on the deck of the duplex next to the condo at the beach, waiting for the special effects crew to come with the effect to kill Frances Rain, who was going to be in the pool. Spear was going to go through her, blood sucker, pull her down, and we were fighting light. It was almost daylight, so it'd be a night scene. And the special effects crew came up and said, "We can't make it work." That's the way me. You can't make it work. They said, "We can't make it work. We just can't do it." And it was time to shoot. It was past time to shoot. I said, "Well, fuck it, we're just drowning," and that's what we did, and did it in slow motion, and it worked very well. But that's not the way it was written, not the way it was supposed to do. Something that went wrong, but we didn't have to hold up production and talk with them.
Yeah,
just get it done.
And I remember one thing from our first conversation when we talked about the fight that you had with the MPAA to get an R rating. You said, I'm never going to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's your movie, you get to decide whether you're going to release it unrated or, whatever.
I think releasing it unrated today will be more acceptable than it was in 85, 84. Theater just wouldn't do it. They were under a lot of control, I guess, by big houses, distributors. Mm-hmm. And now there's so many different venues that not just theatrical, but online. I'm happy to release it unrated. If a distributor licenses it and they want to get a rating, they have my blessing.
There you go. We have another special guest in the green room, and we have a fan in the green room who wants to ask a question. But first, I'm going to bring on. I talked about him earlier in the stream. He was a great anti-anxiety before I went to shoot.
Jason.
And that is Mr. Irvin. Jason, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Hey, man.
Hear me okay?
Hey, it's good to see you.
You too, buddy. Thank you. Hey, thanks for having me. This is exciting. So congratulations. So, everybody, I love seeing everybody's reactions to the trailer. Cheyenne's showed me about that because Dan, you're one of the actors, was posting that on his social media. And it's just so fun to, see everybody excited, so.
The thing got over 6,000 views the first 24 hours it was posted. I like that. I was proud of that. And it's been shared hundreds of times.
That's
People
awesome.
like it. Yeah, I'm glad.
Makes you wish you did it sooner, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I wanted to do it sooner, just couldn't get around to it.
Well, but that's all right. But at least day by day, and like they were saying, I mean, you did it on your own. No one else can really say that hardly, So that's. I mean, Cheyenne, she was saying, she always says how smart you are with your business sense and approaching all this and all that stuff. And it takes a good business mind to really put on a film and to attack it like you do. It really is. I mean, you're a businessman and a horror fan and a great writer. So it all works out, right?
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And it's good to see you with your beard back, I must say.
You're not talking to me.
Yes.
You're talking to okay.
I was telling this story the other night during a stream where I was like, you guys went like, buddy, you went back and forth like do I make him shave? Do I want to clean shaven like that? It's like, well. So finally, it was like, okay, just do you mind to shave? And I was like, I don't care. Just give me the, I had to like borrow a razor from somebody, and I shaved. But yeah, so yeah.
Sometimes that gets to be really shocking when someone who's pretty much like been born with a beard all their life, right out the womb with a beard, just has to like all of a sudden shave for a part of it in a movie. You never know how that person is going to react, and be parted with their beard, because and you did well. You did very well with it, because you were very dedicated to be in the scene, and you did great, like Buddy said. So it was so fun watching you do this. So great job, man. I think everyone's gonna love your special spot in the scene. So
the where I drew the line though, buddy, when you said to shave all my body here, I said, buddy, that's not necessary.
Wait a minute now.
That's not necessary.
Stories.
Yeah,
well, I paid Buddy to ask for that. So
there was that trick we played on Jeff, which he's not here. But do you remember that, Jason? you told me that Jeff was, I forget who it was. Was it Kevin Bacon or something like that?
Kevin Bacon, yes. So there's this little inside joke with Jeff and his lovely lady about Kevin Bacon. As you probably know, Jeff goes on to the Friday the 13th camp tours, on location tours, and there was this really big fanatic who was always saying, like, you think Kevin Bacon's going to be here? Because sometimes celebrities come on these tours. And we always joked about that fan who's like, you think Kevin Bacon's going to be here? This would be so much better with Kevin Bacon. So I set him up to ask Jeff. He's like, do you think Kevin Bacon's going to be on set here? So
I said it so seriously. I was like, Jeff, do you think, I don't know, Kevin Bacon will jump? He was like, the look on his face was, so yeah.
Good. Yeah. It was.
That was
funny.
That was funny.
Yeah. But no, for this film was a lot of fun to work on, really. And it was, like anything has its challenges, good or bad, there was a lot of cast members to process, and a lot of it was like Buddy's family, which was amazing to be to hear their stories about how they were involved with Mutilator, the first one, and just seeing I guess the impact, and just all the things that it's done in the future. And I love Bill's Hitchcock story and how he got casted in the first Mutilator. It's the best. You have to ask him sometime about it. I don't want to give his, take his spotlight, but it's a great story. So
it is. It's true.
Yeah, he's been great to work with too. Him and Ruth and all. A lot of people were really excited that you brought back a lot of the original cast members too. And some great cameos too that we won't talk about and give away. But
okay,
it's so fun. But yeah, it was great meeting your family and everything, and just having them in the makeup chair and the hair chair for a little bit. And I guess Ryan James, he took a big sacrifice with hair too, if you remember.
He did. He had hair down to here. I didn't see him when he arrived, but he had hair past his shoulders and a long beard. The first time I saw him, y'all had taken care of him. Or Cheyenne had. He was who he is.
Cheyenne did a job, trimming that up and making it look right. So it was
she did,
yeah.
And Jason, you and Cheyenne were were incredible. So I really enjoyed spending some time with you guys and getting my hair and makeup done. You really, and I really mean it. Like, not, I can't say I was super nervous. I was anxious. Like I was ready. Let's do it. And just hanging out with you guys and shooting the bull. And, it was a great anxiety relief. So,
well, good. We try to make a warm presence anytime we're on stage or on film, wherever it is, because it's not just an act for us. That's just who Cheyenne and I are, really. We love hearing people's stories. We love making people comfortable and getting ready for the show. And also as makeup and hairstylists, we always say that for anyone who's inspired to want to be a makeup and hair, on film, that you are more likely the first people you will encounter, that the hair and makeup department will, you'll encounter before you even get on stage, before you maybe even get into wardrobe or something like that, So the tone that you get in a makeup and hairstyle in the department may reflect the vibe on set. So if it's good and when you're getting makeup on, then hopefully it's going to put you in a good mood to be on set, and the director's going to love working with you. I mean, if that makes sense, you know?
Right.
It does, and thank you for that.
Oh,
And
no.
Cheyenne too.
Yeah, well, it's our pleasure. So we loved it.
Any favorite memory from working on Mutilator 2, Jason?
A lot, yeah. Some of the great ones was it was great seeing Damien and Cheney, getting to work with them again, because I've familiar with them on the movie Haunt. I was a makeup artist for that. I didn't do the cool special effects, but I did a lot of the cast there. So it was great seeing them again. And also on Jeff's film, On Location, or Terror Trips, maybe
Terror Trips.
Yeah. So, but I think one of the other funny moments, like Terry Kaiser, great guy to work with, so fun. And like, it's like Buddy was saying, there's a lot of late nights, you know. And one of the times, Terry's just sitting in the cafe. We're kind of, it's all kind of like dimly lit. And he just comes over to Cheyenne and I, and he's just like, have you guys like really processed like over 100 people today? And I'm like, probably so. And he's like, holy cow, that's crazy, you know. Just out of nowhere, you know, it just comes like a bat out of the sky. I'm like, all right, yeah, you know. So it was great, man. He was great to work with. Cody and Eva and all that stuff. Great cast. I cannot say that enough. The cast will make it, and it was just not just on screen, but off of screen. Well done. Kudos. Chef's kiss. You know, I love seeing the family involved. I loved having this, just Buddy's life involved with this. I can't say that enough. I mean, we have everybody's signature to the side of me of Mutilator 2's poster on our wall. And I love seeing Buddy sign it. And he got emotional because he saw everybody come together on a poster. So not to be weird, but it's a beautiful thing. That was, so yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Jason, thank you so much Buddy, do you have something you want to say, Jason?
Yeah, Jason was talking about my family members. We should mention my daughter Hallett, the noted chef restaurateur and owner of Amos Mosquito's Restaurant and Bar, which was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives a month ago. It's in the movie. And she plays a chef.
Yeah,
she does. And if you guys are ever passing through Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, you owe it to yourself to go to Amos Mosquito. Incredible. Some of the best food I ever ate in my life.
Yeah.
And Jason, Mike Dedman came down and spent a couple of days with us. You and Cheyenne, please come down and say hello.
Oh, we will, man. We always talk about it. It's a beautiful city down there, and being around on the beach. I mean, yeah, we still have the shells that we collected from the beach.
We open in February, but best times come it would be in May.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to know.
I've got a shell right here from the beach.
All right.
And some sand actually just fell out of it. It's been sitting on my desk all this time and still got sand in it. So
very nice. All right. Hey, thanks you guys for having me. I look forward to seeing you guys, down the road, and we love you all.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you so much, Jason. Have a good night, and give our best to Cheyenne.
We will. Love you guys. Bye.
Take care, man. That was great.
What a guy.
I know. What a nice guy. What a nice fella. We have somebody else in the green room who wants to jump on and say hello or ask a question. We've got my buddy here, Matt, Dream Emulator. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, good. How you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Hey, I don't have so much of a question. I just wanted to share a quick kind of story. It's kind of a stupid story.
Go ahead.
So first of all, buddy, thank you so much for coming on. It's awesome to see this, and Piz, thanks for having me up.
It's been a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, it's been great. So I love the Mutilator, and
thank you.
Really, if it wasn't for that movie, I wouldn't have gotten back into horror. I remember back in 2015, maybe 2016, when Arrow had put out the Mutilator on Blu-ray. 2016. Okay. Yeah. And I had gone out to the mall one day, and I hadn't really been into horror for a while. I had fallen out of it. I was always, a big horror fan growing up and everything, but for a while, nothing really stuck with me. And I remember going to the mall, and my girlfriend at the time, we went into this record store, and they sold Blu-rays there, and they had the Mutilator just up on a stand on some aisle just by itself, and she had pointed out, she was like, "Oh, I heard that's a good movie," and we had nothing to do that night, so we had bought it and went home and watched it, and it just that is really what propelled me back into horror, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. There's like a whole world of like really amazing not unknown, but just lesser known horror movies that really don't that deserve to be seen, that just not a lot of people have seen." And it just really opened my whole world up to horror. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met Piz. I wouldn't know so many great people. And that's really what opened my whole world back up to horror. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that. And I'm really excited for the new one. And sorry for my rambling story, but just wanted to say.
Well, it was my pleasure, and welcome back to the world of horror.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I wouldn't be here without that. And so I think it's really, really touched a lot of people in ways you probably don't even realize. So thank you very much.
That was a great story, Matt. Thank you for
Yeah,
thank you for
absolutely.
sharing that. I'm glad that I mean, look at buddy, the Mutilator practically saved his life.
It's true. I'm a changed man because of you.
Send money.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I want one of those cool Mutilator 2 hats. I'll send you a blank check for one of those. I only got like $50 in my bank account though. So.
You need to get some of this merch out here, buddy. I mean, get some of this merch.
As I told Eva, the posters are about to be printed. The proof has been approved, and I'm waiting for them to schedule, and they're going to let me come pick them up. It's being printed in Charlotte. They said I can be there to watch the first one come off the press, make sure it's right. And if it is, they hit the go button, and they're going to pack them up, and I'm going to wait till they're ready. Might have to spend the night, but I'll be bringing them back. And I expect that'll happen next week. So we'll have some posters to put up, along with the hats and the T-shirts and a few body parts if anybody wants one.
Well, I'll be first in line. So,
nice.
Well, thank you guys. I'll drop off, but I really appreciate it.
All right, Matt. Take care, man. Have a good one. Thanks for hopping on. We've got somebody else in the green room, but I'm going to ask you a question here that was posted in the chat. Antonis wants to know about the special effects in Mutilator 2. Were they all practical effects?
Yeah. A couple we had to tweak with a very modest amount of computer graphics, but they are practical effects. Yeah.
Practical effects.
That's what the fans wanted, and I like the fans. So that's what I wanted. I like them. I prefer them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Somebody in the chat earlier, and I went back and tried to find it, but I can't find the question. They want to know, will that amazing Fall Break song from the first film appear in Mutilator 2?
I am sad to say that no, it will not. I think it's a great tune. That's Michael Menard's genius at work there. Alexander Taylor, our composer for Mutilator 2, is also a musical genius. At one point, you can hear the melody, so it appears that way, but it's not the same arrangement.
Okay, but just a hint of it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to bring.
There are a lot of Easter eggs in there, and I consider that to be one of them.
Yeah, see, that's cool. We've got somebody else in the green room who wants to jump on and say hello or ask a question. Jack, how you doing tonight, Jack?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good. Have you got a question for Buddy?
I do. Buddy, when you created the Mutilator and, the character Big Ed, did you expect like the notoriety to come with that, for him to be, an iconic killer up there with, like Jason, Michael, and Freddy? Or did you expect the Mutilator to take off as much as it did?
No, I did not. I appreciate you saying that Big Ed is an icon up there with Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers. Here's an example of how an actor works. Jack Chatham, who played Big Ed, came to me before we started shooting. He said, "Tell me about this character. What's he like?" And I said, he is one mean son of a bitch. And that's all the direction that Jack Chatham needed. From there, he got the mean look that he does with his grits his teeth and squints. It's that's Jack. It was his interpretation of the character, and he did a really good job. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that I made the character up, but
Yeah.
I'll take credit for that part.
Did you?
He did, because I mean, Jack Big Ed is he's a unique slasher killer, because I mean, you know, he's just a guy, but you know, he's a, you know, sick he's a sick guy, but he's just he's a human being.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't wear a mask.
Doesn't wear a mask. All he needs is that axe. And listen, he is so determined to kill. Even when he's cut in half, he's still coming at you. You know, that's pretty badass to me. So.
What buddy, what was your reaction, or like what was your expectation of the Mutilator? Like, did you think it would carry on to be the cult classic that it is today?
No, Jack, when I made the Mutilator, I've always wanted to make movies, and I didn't know how. And I read an in-depth article in the New York Times about film school, and I was going to send myself to film school. And the article closed by saying, if you can get a job on a movie, you'll learn more working on one movie than you will in 4 years of film school.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's accurate statement.
Weekly Variety was reporting at that time that a third of the tickets being sold in this country were being sold to low-budget horror pictures. So I said, well, I can take the money that I would spend going to film school, and I'll make a low-budget horror picture. I'll have a better chance to get my money back. I can make 2 of these, and then I will have learned enough I can make what we'll call a real movie. And so that's how I got started. It didn't happen. I was expecting a financial success with the Mutilator, but the system prevented that from happening. I'm glad that it stuck around, and I'm glad that Arrow, and Ewan Camp was instrumental in that happening. But I'm glad that Arrow bought the thing out on DVD and Blu-ray, which gave the old fans something to see and gave me a whole bunch of new fans. I appreciate them doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they help it stay around. It's around now.
Yeah. Well, Jack,
Piz, can I ask one more question? Oh, okay.
Sure. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a huge fan of sequels. Do you plan on creating more, or is it going to be 1 and 2? Then I think we're done.
I don't know. The last night of shooting, Damian Mackey said, I've got an idea. I've been thinking about, I'm not going to tell you what he said, but I saw it. As soon as he said it, I saw it. I said, oh, no.
Well, if Mutilator 2 is successful, put it this way. If Mutilator 2 is successful, can we guarantee a Mutilator 3?
If Mutilator 2 earns me, if I get 75% of my money back, I promise you Mutilator 3. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
I want to audition.
You heard it here. You heard it here, folks. Well, Jack, thank you for jumping on, man. Thank you for those questions.
Anytime. Nice to meet you, buddy.
See you.
Take care, man. You heard it here, folks. We got to get Mutilator 2, you know, up there so we got to complete the trilogy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. A couple of questions here have rolled in from the chat. Michael Sullivan wants to know, was horror something you had always wanted to do?
Horror is something I've always appreciated. When I learned to read, some of the first books I read were Dracula, Frankenstein, Jekyll and Hyde, and I just liked it. First movie I remember seeing was a double feature of the Bela Lugosi Dracula and Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr. My dad owned an interest in a drive-in theater. He took my sister Annette and me to see it. And Annette had a way of holding her lips so that only her canine teeth would show. I was probably 4 years old. She was 6, but she scared me to death doing that. And I kind of like it. I didn't intend to. The decision to make the Mutilator was an economic decision. I thought I'd get my money back and be able to make another one. But I'm glad I did because I like it and people like it.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Various artists wants to know, are there currently any plans for a physical DVD or Blu-ray release? But before we get to Mutilator 2, because Buddy's looking for a distributor right now for the movie. I heard a rumor that the original Mutilator may be getting a 4K release at some point in the future. Can you comment on that?
I'll be happy to. Ewan Kent, whom I mentioned earlier, was in charge of acquisitions at Arrow Video. And a year ago, he's no longer there. I think he's with Vinegar Syndrome. But a year ago, he said that they were interested in doing a 4K release. Did I have the negative? Could I get my hand and say, yeah, I got the negative. And it's sitting right over there on the floor. I pulled the negative out, put it in a plastic bag. I put it over there in my living room, waiting for Ewan to say, send me the negative. But I haven't gotten a call yet. But that's maybe how that rumor got started.
Okay.
And I'll be very happy if anybody wants to make a 4K. I got my negative right here.
Well, I can tell you if he calls you from Vinegar Syndrome to do it, okay, they will do it justice. They'll probably do they'll do a great 4K. They'll probably put it in some incredible packaging. You know,
if he was in charge, it would be right. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, Vinegar Syndrome did the color correction for the DVD which Arrow put out, and I went up to Bridgeport and sat with the timer a day, and we went through it and adjusted this and adjusted that. So I'm aware of the quality of work that they provide. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. My buddy Keith, Captain Halloween, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. He says, very much looking forward to the movie. Any chance that this here show winds up as an extra on the Blu-ray?
That's not my decision to make. It would make a good one, I think. Is it recorded? Somebody recording this?
Yeah, it'll be archived. It'll be if they want it, they just have to ask me. It'll be all theirs.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you for that, Keith. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Actually, Ann says Justin from Vinegar Syndrome was on the crew.
Justin, that's correct. And I received an email from Justin just 2-3 days ago. He said they have opened at Vinegar Syndrome a new department for comic books, and they're making comic books of horror movies now. Wants to know if they can do a prequel to Mutilator 1 and a comic book for Mutilator. And when Mutilator 2 comes out, they want to do a comic book for that. And I said, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Maybe you can give me your opinion, because I'm not familiar with comic books made from horror movies. I'm interested.
Well, I mean, it depends on the story and the artist, and because I mean, they could do a cool. It could be cool. I mean, you should ask for final say and whether or not it comes out. So if it sucks, you go no. But if you think it's cool, then you go okay, run with it.
Good advice. I'd ask him to send me a copy of something he's proud of.
There you go. But I think Vinegar Syndrome, everything they do is pretty top notch. They're really into the collectors market. The releases that they put out for movies, they really roll out. I say this all the time for just about all their releases. My viewers are probably sick of hearing me say it, but they really roll out the red carpet for whatever they're releasing. And the bigger stuff, like for the Mutilator, I'm sure they'd really go all out. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. My buddy Jack, who was just on the show here with us, thank you for the $10 super chat. He says, come on, fans, let's make the Mutilator 2 a success. I want to audition for Mutilator 3. So there you go.
I got the perfect role for him.
There's you a victim right there. There's you a
Right.
victim.
Yeah.
But thank you for that, Jack. Appreciate it. So here's an interesting question from someone in the chat. I don't know if you may not want to go too deep on this one in case it's spoilery.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, but my buddy Jan Man says, is there a specific reason why the decision was made to go meta with Mutilator 2?
It works. It worked, and it does not interfere with. Does not negate any impact of the Mutilator original Mutilator. That.
Okay.
It's good. It's a good question.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed on the trailer there were a few comments of people going, meta, because I mean that can go one way or the other. But I have faith that you did it right. So
It's not. We're not showing Mutilator 1 over again. No.
Perfect.
You go get that from Arrow.
Bog Zombie wants a novelization for Mutilator.
That was an alternative offered by Justin, and I probably should buy a couple of those and read them because I don't know how they go.
Novelization, there's quite it's a niche market, but a lot of people love to read novelizations based on movies, and they love to they collect them. They love to compare the novel with the screenplay, and because that in a novel format you can go a lot deeper. You can have like an inner monologue from the killer or for somebody that you can't have on film.
Yeah.
So a lot of there's a definitely a market for that.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
Yeah.
I've written. I can only think of one novel right now that I've written. I've read some, but it might be fun to write my own. How about a package with a copy of the screenplay and a copy of the novel? I
think that would be really cool. As a matter of fact, I think that'd be really cool. Just a couple of more things, and then I'll let you go. We've been going for almost an hour and a half. It definitely does not feel like an hour and a half.
It sure doesn't. No, I've had a great time.
I know time flies when you're having fun. I noticed on the Internet Movie Database, you are listed as a producer for an upcoming film called Silent Night, Bloody Night 3. What can you tell us about that?
My friend and talented actor Carl Grasso was appearing in that movie, and I contributed some money to they had a go campaign or a Kickstarter or something, and I don't like to participate in those because they get so much information, and I know that I'm going to get spam and phone calls. So I just I said, I'd rather just send you a check. So I sent a check, and I asked for no perks. So I think that they did that as a courtesy to me, as a thank you. That's all I know about it.
Okay. We've actually got a relative of yours here in the chat. NC Clifton Cooper says, Piz, if you would please let Buddy know, as a horror fan and also a family member, he is my dad's cousin, Klein Cooper. I'm just grinning from ear to ear. LOL.
Clifton, I'm glad you're here. And I remember Klein very well. We grew up together. He was a year behind me. And I was very sad when he died. It's been a while now. So I'm glad you're here. Thanks for saying hello.
Yeah, right on, man. My buddy Swaggy G wants to know, would you describe Piz's acting as Shakespearean or more like Brando?
Oh, Brad, there's a guy called Brad Pitt. You know him? Have you ever heard of Brad Pitt? I think we got Brad Pitt right here.
Well,
your acting, Swaggy, Justin's acting was natural. It was just as natural as it could have been. He was professional.
Thank you very much. I do the one bit of direction you gave me. because it was so natural. It just came naturally. There was one bit of direction. I don't know if you remember it, but you went bigger, go bigger. And I went, I get it. Okay, I got you. I got you. So,
I don't remember that.
yeah, that was your one bit of direction to me, was just go bigger. So that's what I did.
That's about as much direction as I gave anybody. You guys just had it all.
Just had it going on. That's cool. That's cool. Let's see here. We do have a couple more questions rolling in here. Are you good with a couple of more questions, buddy?
Oh yeah. I'm having a great time.
Jan Man asks, is there an aspect of the first Mutilator that you look back at today and think I do that different today, or I would change that if I made it today?
Well, that's a good question. I've always regretted that the spear scene didn't work, but I can't say I'd want to change it because the drowning scene worked so well that that's the only thing that I think I would change. I might take a little more time to rehearse the actors, but it holds up well, I think, and that the actors are supposed to be young people at the beach having a good time, and they that's what they're doing. It just works for me. I mean, we're not talking red carpet by any means, but we are talking far superior to the average low budget horror picture.
Yeah. And I mean, look,
go ahead.
And I mean, look, I'm sure that spear would have looked great with the blood going everywhere, but there's something about that drowning scene that's just kind of, because
well, whenever you see a beautiful nude woman in a swimming pool, it's going to get your attention.
It's definitely going to get your attention. And I think whenever you're doing a drowning, like everybody's had that moment, kind of maybe you can kind of, you understand what a drowning would feel like. So there's something very, I'm not sure what the word, very visceral about a drowning, like watching that in a movie. So it was a simple but very effective death.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if you remember, I caught you on the set one day and we were by the pool and I was like, is this the same pool you shot that in? And you were like, yeah, that's the same pool. I was like, it looks so much bigger on film, or in the movie, but I was like, that's the same pool.
There was a roofing company who was repairing the roof of a hotel at Emerald Isle at the time. And they had that big tarp that they used to cover the roof to protect it from rain while they were doing the work. And we asked them if we could use it, and they sent it down. And in Mutilator 1, there's a big blue dome over the swimming pool with flowers in there, plants and light. And that dome is from the roofing company. We had a pump going to keep it pumped up. Every time we shoot, we had to cut the pump off because of the noise. But that made a really beautiful set. The lighting, the plants, the blue dome. Yeah, the whole scene I think, is good.
Yeah. My buddy Mishra Shade, thank you for the 1999 super chat. He says, hey buddy and Piz, just sending some love and cheer for the Mutilator. Well, thank you.
Thanks,
for that.
Man.
Appreciate that very much.
Yes,
Pete Carr says, Mr. Cooper, please tell me you'll keep the Oceana forever.
Pete, my friend Pete, I can't tell you that. There is a redevelopment program we've been working on for more than a decade. It's been set back by financials, but we had a recession, we had a slowdown, the financing rules changed, but I think we're in gear now to begin the redevelopment. Some of the mobile homes we moved out this winter, probably next year sometime. Part of the building will be demolished. The part closest to the road, the part closest to the ocean will go last over the next, 4 or 5 years, but they will be replaced with some nice condominiums. The fishing pier will be there. The pier house will be renovated, made bigger, larger, nicer restaurant, a new pool. Pete, I can't say you're going to keep it forever, no, but I'm glad you like it.
So some renovations, some some updates or whatnot. But
Oh, we're doing that now. Yeah, we this time of year when we're closed, we do all our renovation and repairs, patching, painting, that sort of thing.
well, I got to tell you, you've got a great. We've been talking about the cast and the crew of the movie, but you've got a great crew that work at Oceana too. I mean,
Yeah,
they were spectacular. They were spectacular.
Yeah, Sammy was there. He was everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
He,
And the ladies who were working the check-in and the reception and stuff, they were incredible. They were just, everybody was just tremendous.
It's we provide a good work environment. I think people like us.
I would agree.
People like working here.
I would agree. And Rizami says the Oceana is a great place to visit. I agree. If you guys if you're ever in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, you want to stay somewhere that's right on the beach, has its own private pier, right across the street from an incredible restaurant, great area. That's the place to stay. Let me tell you. You might even see Buddy out one day, and you know what I mean? Might even see Buddy out there hanging out.
Yeah, I'll throw a spear or something at you. You never know.
Just if he's holding a gaff in his hand or an axe,
run.
Yeah, steer clear. Steer clear. Oh, geez. But I think that looks to be about it. Yeah, buddy, this has just been absolutely incredible. And please keep us up to date on social media if you guys aren't following.
Jason just flashed a message up, but I didn't get to read it. Did you see it?
He was just saying Brad Piz. Good one.
Okay, good one. Yeah, okay.
But if you guys aren't following Mutilator 2 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, do so to keep abreast of all the developments. Hopefully we'll hear something back about distribution soon, and that would be tremendous. And of course, if you're following me on social media, I'll keep everybody up to date as well. As soon as I know something, everybody else will too. So so hopefully pretty soon we'll be at that Mutilator 2 premiere there at the at the what was it, what was the theater?
Carolina Theater in Durham.
The Carolina Theater. Hopefully we'll be at the Carolina Theater premiere very soon.
Well, I hope so.
My buddy Miss Richey, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. He says, buddy, what is your perfect Sunday?
Well, I'd say sleep late, get up, relax, do a couple crossword puzzles, and watch a UNC Carolina basketball game. That'd be a good one.
That's a good one.
Watch them win. They've had some injuries, but they're good.
Yeah. My buddy Horror Orman, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, much horror love for the Mutilator.
Thank you, Horror Orman. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bog Zombie says he's super excited to see when it's available. We'll keep. I'm
keeping after it. Yeah.
Stay tuned. And Ann Hale says, go Duke.
Hey, get that off of you.
Well, listen, I'm a Kentuckian. We hate Duke here too. So she's insulted both of us, buddy. She's insulted both of us.
Okay.
But again, thank you, buddy, so much. This has been great fun. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you, to see you again and shoot the bull. And thank you so much, man.
Yeah, Justin, it's been really good for me. Thanks a lot. I've had a really good time. To you and everybody who showed up, everybody who had a question.
This has been great. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Whether you watched on YouTube or Twitch, definitely appreciate that. Thanks to everybody for the super chats. Very kind of you. And stay tuned for Mutilator 2. Coming soon
to a theater near you.
There you go. All right. Okay. Have a great night, guys.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, man.
See you.